Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, honoured guests, and Pete, my partner. I'd like to just do an introduction. My partner, Pete du Toit, he is the principal at Randvaal Primary. Brief history, 34 years of service in the SA education system. I don't know how he's done it, I must be honest. 20 years as HOD, not all at Randvaal, but these are his career credentials. And recently appointed, not that recently, but appointed principal of Randvaal Primary, 1st of July 2012. Back. Sorry, I have to, these are the highlights I just want to sort of focus on. When I look at Pete and when I first met him to what I know him now, these are the words that really highlight his personality. He's a very determined man. Determination like you've never seen. And he's big, so don't play with him. Dedicated, incredibly dedicated. Lives, eats and breathes his school. Hands-on. When I say hands-on, I mean big hands on. Whether it's welding, whether it's repairing, whether it's comforting one of his students, hands-on. And caring, very caring. The man has 6 social workers on speed dial. That's Pete.
Martin, you can keep the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Wolf, business leader, owner and director of Elite Polyurethane Engineering Proprietary Limited. 3 businesses in one. Manufacturing industrial plastics for 26 years. Took control of a family-founded business in 2000 and is the CEO of Elite Group of Companies. Ladies and gentlemen, I've learned to know Martin as a passionate person about education, to know what's going on there and to really make a difference in education. He's also very determined and caring to really make a difference in education. And if I say really make one, his children is still before school, so he needs to sort it out before they go to school. And he really wants to make a difference for that. Challenges? First one is yours.
No, it's yours.
Keep the mic. Human resource management, I think that's where me and Martin met the first time. I went to his office and he showed me some tests in his recruitment, structured recruitment. On school level, the impact of hunger, the poverty of the area, hungry children. I don't know if you tried going to work hungry in the morning, you don't make it till tea time. Imagine a child coming to school hungry, having to go till first break before he get his first meal. That is only at the schools where they do have feeding schemes. If there's not a feeding scheme at school, that child goes hungry for the whole day. So, parents cannot provide the basics. They do not have the means to supply a meal every day. Parental participation in a learner schooling, parents are not involved. Not because they don't want to, but because they cannot get to the school to be involved. They do not have the means to get to the school if they want to be involved. The child-headed families, ladies and gentlemen, it is something that is with us. Where an 11-year-old girl has to look after 3 or 4 siblings younger than her, because the parents are either working during the day or sleeping during the day to work at night, or they have to stay at home alone because just nobody else to look after them. That's a reality that we live with.
So I'm going to interject here, and this is one of the key things that brought Pete and myself together mentally. Being hands-on in my recruitment process always. I had the motivation to come to this program that was born out of an awareness of the end product of the schooling system. I would look for entry-level employees, and I got to the point where I was employing people that really had no skill. When I say no skill, I mean 0 skill. And I shared with Pete just briefly a test that I did because I was tired of recruiting people and having to ask them to leave in a month's time because they couldn't read a measuring tape. So I drafted a fundamental little test, a test that had just a square and a rectangle and a triangle. And I put the dimensions of two sides of a square in centimeters and in millimeters. And I asked that the applicants complete the balance of the dimensions. I had such a gross failure rate with applicants that had a matric certificate. This is fundamentally then, when I shared this with Pete, this was one of the processes that drove me to say yes to PFP. When I shared this with Pete, Pete looked at this and said, this is impossible. Is this what the end product is about?
Ladies and gentlemen, my personal highlights, engaging with others with common problems. All the schools have the same similar problems. We just spell it differently. The name of the school is the one that's different. Sharing a platform of problem solving. By discussing the problem, there's a saying, two heads are better than one, and there's a reason for that. Developing new approaches to old problems and viewing the end product through the eyes of the employee. If that was a product that we deliver, that's on the shelf, would I buy my own product or would I look for something better? That's my question. And what I've seen is I wouldn't buy the end product that we are delivering.
In terms of my highlights, the opportunity to gain a realistic understanding of the working and the shortcomings of our education system. Our business is contract related. From time to time I can employ 20, 30 short-term contractors. All of those contractors having gone through the same recruitment process. It was just evident to me that I needed to understand what was going wrong in our education system. Having said that, having met Pete, there is so much going right. Please don't get me wrong. But we have challenges. Awareness from a personal point of view for the need to continue creating employment. Creating business to create employment in this country is not easy. The obstacles are massive. But when you walk into that school ground and you witness those children, and you witness that every one of them runs around with hopes and dreams and the willingness to want to do something. At their tender age, it's the willingness to want to climb a tree or want to perform in sports or want to do something. But as they grow, it's going to be the willingness for the dignity to have a job. And having seen that at Pete's school, I go back to my office every day and I say, all right, we have to continue doing this despite the challenges that employment has in this country.
As far as the value added to me, the personal development on my side, flawless consulting workshop, it prompted new approaches. And that new approaches really, I had the fruits of that already. Clear objectives based on interactions have yielded many fruitful results up to now. Involvement in screening, identification, assessment and support, what's commonly known amongst educators and principals as SIAs, has prompted me to get involved by having a real insight in the end product that we deliver. If somebody picked up earlier that the children that are doing mathematics on matric level have a problem using a ruler, cannot measure, something could have been done about that before the children leave school. And that's why I'm able to speak without the microphone, because I'm busy Saturdays training teachers to look out for the problems, identify it, and how to assist those learners so that we can deliver a better product on the end of the day.
Time to think. This one took us both by surprise because we're both doers, and I think it's been said before. But Peter and myself had the pleasure of doing this exercise together, and it was like someone pulling the handbrake on a bus, and we all fell forward because we don't listen often enough. So from Peter and myself, the must lead my way to listen, consider, think, and consider the voice of my staff, the voice of his staff, and a shared vision of going forward has been invaluable.
Ladies and gentlemen, the aquaponics project that we have at school is one of the highlights to prove what can happen if the community and the school work together. I don't have enough time to explain the whole project to you, but this is basically what it boils down, is where we use fish to grow vegetables. There's no soil involved, it's planted in gravel, and last week Friday, 7 weeks after we've planted the seeds, and by the way the mayor of Randvaal planted seeds as well, we had our first harvest of beans. In one bed like this, we harvested 9.5 kilos of beans, which had 3 meals for the children at the feeding scheme this week.
I must just add, that's Pete's doing. I arrived there when this project was 70% complete, and his powers of persuasion got it done.
And I'm trying my best to get those companies involved in Partners for Possibility as well. Educators need to take note of the end product that we're delivering to the community out there. We need to be proud of what we're doing, and that is the building bricks of our nation. If we put clay in there, we never will have a stable foundation for that. Question again, would I buy my own product? And I don't think there are many teachers that would.
So why should you get involved? From a business leader's point of view, it has been an experience, has been something that has changed my perception of the needs of this country. It affects you on a personal level in that you get exposed to a network of people who really care. You get exposed to the side of the education system that does work. You get exposed to those people who are determined to make it work, and how they wrestle with the systems that don't work. So, you know, my message, what would my message be? I've seen that as much as Peter's an excellent manager, essentially he's an educator. And he's expected to manage the business of schooling. School is a business. School is a business. I walked in there, and 2 months down the line I was gobsmacked. There's cash flow that has to be considered, there's financial reporting, there's human resources, there's everything that constitutes a business. And we're expecting, in a lot of the smaller schools also, educators to administrate all of this. So, by sharing skills, my skills, which I don't profess to be great, but the basic skills of any business management, to share those skills with a business partner, be it over a beer, did myself in a couple of beers, and just to share the concepts that are of concern every day. Those are the times that count. The beer was tasty too. And to get involved. Essentially, if fellow entrepreneurs were to come to me and say, should I get involved? I'd say absolutely. Absolutely. If you can get involved for an hour, for a day, for a week, it'll make a difference.